Hi, and welcome everybody to another week of NECC. This time, playoffs round one, quarterfinals, post university versus Montclair State University. I'm your caster, StarStro, and I am joined by JuggleGod. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I'm excited to be casting alongside you. We were talking before the stream that we both tend to cast solo here at Post University, so it's great to be in the booth with somebody else. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match, especially because these teams have a very, very even record, right? Post University going into the 6-1, MSU at 5-2. And another interesting, just stat that I kind of wanted to throw out there is Post University beat the other MSU team. This is MSU White, I believe, today that they are facing. Post University beat the other MSU team, which was ranked a little bit lower, but it was a very close match.
Right, right. Yeah, and so for for MSU, it's almost a little bit of a revenge match of sorts, even if it isn't the same roster per se.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe both MSU rosters did make playoffs as well. I think they're in a different quarterfinals match versus
Oh, interesting.
St.
Oh
Lawrence
yeah, they are
University.
MSU Black. Yeah, it would have been MSU Black,
Yep.
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, both teams with pretty successful records so far, 6-1 and 5-2. Um,
I
so
think the other interesting thing to note as well is that this MSU White team is actually ranked on average a little bit higher. So even though Post University has a better record going into this, if you just look at the stats from just say comp, Post University is the underdog. But of course, we know that it's hard to compare competitive play with team play. It's almost an entirely different game.
absolutely. I mean, a lot of times in ranked, it's a little bit like running around, dry peeking things, not comboing your utility to that same level. Where it tends to be a little bit of a slower paced game when we kind of get into team play, looking for information, kind of taking your time with site hits, using all that utility at once, and taking those fights together. So sometimes, despite ranks, the sum is sometimes greater than the parts when it comes to these kind of things.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I think that's such a good way to compare or to put it. And one thing that I think is really, I think that we should commend Post University on this season in particular is just how they've been able to keep this cohesion together despite having a lot of roster changes, right? KeltheKelp is going to be in tonight, who I believe joined kind of mid-season ish, if I remember correctly. So that I think is something very, very important to mention. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to Meech as the coach, right?
Absolutely.
Being able to kind of like keep that cohesion there despite a lot of these roster swaps.
Right, and Meech obviously was a player on the original roster for this team when Post first started doing Valorant. Was the IGL for that team during that time.
Right.
Had a lot of success with the team, and now has moved more to a coaching role to kind of let some of the younger players, newer players coming in to be able to kind of fill those roles, but has still taken a very active role in the team. Usually is in control of when they end up going for pauses, cooking like strategies during that time period. Generally
Right.
speaking, Post does like to use all of their pauses if they can in matches, where sometimes we don't see that as much from some of the other teams, especially the ones that don't necessarily have a coach and are just kind of the five players. Um,
Right.
but yeah, absolutely has been a little bit of a rough season in terms of roster swaps for the Post team, but they've, I mean, been able to overcome everything so far and make their way to playoffs with a, I mean, really good record in 6-1. So
Yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic record. And I think is something else kind of like speaks to the strength of just this bracket is the fact that they are 6-1, and I believe that actually straight up puts them what like third seed with a 6-1
uh,
record.
I think
Let me double
they're, I think
check.
they're listed as the fifth
Yeah,
seed.
yeah,
Yep.
they're listed at the fifth seed with a 6-1 record, which is wild, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just just such a talented I think bracket that we're entering
Yeah.
into.
I think
One thing I wanted. Oh, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was gonna say, I think some of it is also maybe weighted by like a strength of schedule because I noticed
Right.
Montclair is the fourth seed despite having a slightly worse record. So it might be strength of schedule related as well for them.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point to make too. Because a lot of these leagues, especially when we're talking collegiate, there's a ton of different teams, and you're not going to a lot of times get to play every single team. So it's certainly, I don't envy the person who has to make these brackets at all.
Absolutely.
Um, but I want to jump back actually to Meech and what you said about how Meech handles the pauses for the team, because that was one of the big things. Anybody who's watching and who's been watching regularly knows that he filled in while you were on vacation for a couple of weeks. And so one of the big things that I remember from those games was that anytime post university paused, they came back and looked like an entirely different team. So Meech, I think, does a phenomenal job giving the players what they need to hear during those
Right.
pauses, and the players respond in kind. And I think that's if you're another team out here in the NECC, right, and you're not utilizing those pauses, kind of like what you were saying, that a lot of teams don't, then honestly, you're missing out, I think, on a very big part of the game, a very big part of the gameplay, and a strength that you are just completely abandoning. Because post university definitely makes use of that in a very, very big way.
Right. And pauses can be like a lot of things for a team too. It can be that time to cook up some sort of strategy. Sometimes it's just like a chance to reset mentals a little bit. Maybe even to slow down momentum of the like opposing team. Say you're losing a few rounds in a row, and it can act as like sometimes like more of a like mental thing than a strategic thing. So being able to kind of use pauses at the correct time, I think, is also such a big part of team play Valorant.
That
And
is such a good point too. Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't even really thought about in particular like what you're using the pauses for. Um well, no, take that back. One of the things that you mentioned that I hadn't really thought about was just breaking the momentum of the other team,
right,
right? And I think that's a fantastic strat that I just hadn't even considered, honestly. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. Sometimes it's a strat that the coach needs to get in there and just be like, hey, let's focus up, right? And then other times it's to get in there and be like, cool, let's get your heads on straight, right? Because y'all are, the comms are going all over the place, or they're not there, whatever it is. And I just think that's such a there's a lot of intangibles, right, to a game like Valorant that are very, very important. And I think that's even heightened from the coach's perspective, right?
right.
Especially during a match. And those kind of intangibles are very, very hard to develop. And so the fact that Meech has been able to, I think, just really says a lot about him as a coach.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from him like being a player previously as well, because he
Right.
can kind of get into that like mindset, like know what players kind of need because he knows like what he sort of needed from like trial and error from his time playing
Right.
on the team himself. Especially because some of these players are players that he even played with on the team. A lot of the old guard kind of gone now, but Dissident was on the roster. Chris was on some of the earlier rosters, took a break from Valorant, and is now back. And then I think there was some overlap with Meech and Mojo as well. And again, Mojo has been the IGL for this team, has kind of
Right.
taken over being kind of the in-game Meech for Post. um, and
Honestly, that's a really good point. Like, we should probably talk about that as well. Like, the fact that Mojo, as captain, I think, has done a phenomenal job, too.
yeah, absolutely. And looks like we are stepping into the map now here. And again, Mojo has been someone who early on in the season was playing a lot more of the smokes role, a lot more uh, like a lot more of that like standard IGL role, like where you kind of like can play from that. And then recently has transitioned to playing a lot more like flashes, especially the Yoru we've seen a lot of, and being like kind of a carry while also being an IGL
Yeah.
at times, which has been
Yeah.
really big. And already we're starting to see a lot of lock-ins coming here.
Yeah, we are. I
Dis
think, did we get confirmation that player 2 is Elle?
I believe so, based on the agents
On
and
who she's hovering over? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. That's
It's
kind of what I was thinking too.
I believe that is Elle. Valorant streamer mode does sometimes
Right.
do that. So, but yeah, wow, very fast lock-ins
That
here.
was so fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is the fastest lock-in I think I've seen all season.
Um,
From casting and watching.
yeah, very
But
standard
what?
comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Go ahead.
very standard comp here from Post. Generally speaking, the Jet is played a little bit more than Raze, but I do like having that variation. I think it's great for being able to stall plants out and kind of playing that mini game for them. Especially like having the Viper Molly, the Raze Nade, the Killjoy Mollies as well, and even like the KO Molly, they can stall these plants for so long. Silver Shock Darts as well. I mean, everybody on the team has plant stall. And then on the other side, I mean, pretty much identical comp outside of the Jet, which is, I think, seen as more of the sort of standard. But again, I do think the Raze can be very, very impactful on this map. And so far now, it looks like MSU is going to be stacking towards this A site and looking for an early site hit. The KO knife should have spotted 2 here. They should be aware of at least 2 players, the Sova and the Raze, and it looks like they are going to start to execute onto this site here.
Yeah, they're not really wasting any time, which I think is a sign of a very confident team as well. NECC goes in for a couple shots, but is forced to actually dash out. I think we might just be getting a rotate here. I don't think they want to mess with the Viper, and are probably aware that, in fact, most of Post University is rotating. But look at Elle right now. This is a very aggressive play coming out from her. And I think she recognizes that she might have to just back out for a moment.
And it looks like the plant is going to be stalled by KeltheKelp here, at least for a little bit, but that should go down here. We should be getting into a post-plant scenario.
Ooh, Elle falls very quickly, so that's a lot of kind of post-plant utility that they're not going to have. Dissident falls as well, but Chris is able to trade out, so now there's a one-player advantage here for MSU. A little bit of information they're taking. Kel, somebody's going to have to move relatively quickly. Alfred goes out as cleared the way so Kel can drop and maybe even start to kind of fake the defuse here. Pyro, he takes another one out, so Post University down to just a couple of players here. Kel has taken quite a bit of damage. My stream actually lagged right there, so unfortunately I wasn't able to see how that ended, but regardless of it, first round goes to MSU, but Post University did do a bit of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was just a really well placed rotate and post plant. I think the rotates were a little fast from post there early on into the round. So even though Elle got to spot that rotate a little early through mid, there just like wasn't enough time to really get back to B site, and it just became kind of a 5v5 post plant. And then Mnemonics managed to get quite a few early picks in that post plant and sort of shut that down. And it
Yeah,
looks
Mnemonics I think is definitely one we're going to have to watch here as we move forward.
Absolutely. And it looks like it is going to be another hit towards B, this time without that kind of A fake. Viper Wall is coming down here, and it should be just KeltheKelp on the site to stall this out.
Ooh, Noah trying to clear sight to make sure there was nothing there, but nicely placed utility there from KeltheKelp to kind of keep them at bay. Duel in the back of the map is going to go the way of Mojo, so that's 1v1 trade. Mojo gets another one. In fact, it's going to be a one-player advantage here now for Post University. They fake the defuse, and now Elle playing a little bit of cat and mouse game with Noah. They are going to go down eventually. It's going to be a 1v2 now. It's all up to Dissident at this point. Looks like they're going to send a Boombot in to try and clear some area. They get a little bit of information. They get some of that utility down, but now that recon bolts let them know exactly where they are, and I think that this round is essentially over at this point. Dissident doesn't really have an ideal way in. There's too much utility post-plant coming in from MSU. But we're moving into the third round, and this is pretty standard, right? You're going to typically lose that second round if you've lost the first. So now, Post University is going to have the econ advantage. They're going to have that gun advantage. So this is the round that Post University really needs to win. They don't want to take another loss here because that could very easily snowball into a pretty bad situation.
Yep, and as for MSU, they did manage to bring a Guardian and the Spectre into this round. They'll buy up to a Marshal, but generally speaking, really light on guns. This should be a round for Post, assuming there isn't some sort of a thrifty, but with the gun advantage, it is looking in their favor, and it looks like it is going to be a fast A hit, but Dissident is going to blast back forward here.
Yeah, Dissident playing very, very aggressive here. They are going to be spotted out because of that recon bolt. Nice shot! Beautiful. One bullet takes out NECC, and that's a lot of their entry potential gone now. They're really going to have to rely on KO to try and get them in at this point. Both teams just kind of in this standoff at the moment. I think Post University learned their lesson, kind of like you said earlier. They're not going for the very quick rotation all the way over to A, kind of realizing that they lost tempo when they tried to do that. Hasty tries to push through some of that util, but is taken out almost immediately by Montclair. So two-player advantage here. chrisramrz is going to be spotted out. Noah takes them down, and unfortunately that's not going to be traded out. So MSU trying to claw back into this, but they've only got 3 players, and in particular, KJ's going to have to play pretty conservatively at this point. Even though they have the spike, they have very little health. So Post University can just get a little bit of damage on them. They don't even need a headshot to make this almost unassailable.
Oh, but they're going to pivot here towards mid. And
Oh, wow.
will spot that out, but he's going to get away here. But now they're actually faking back over towards the A site.
The double juke. This could be bad for Post University because right now Elle is the only person on site. So she desperately needs to at least trade here. Otherwise, it's going to back to a 3-by-3. They're able to get the spike down. They do trade. So that is, not the perfect situation, but not a bad situation either. 13 seconds left to go. So it looks like they are going to get the plan here unless somebody can get a little bit of utility down. They're not going to be able to. So now Mojo peeks a little bit. Might have seen just the edge of that gun. The knife is going to go out. So a lot of utility is going to be suppressed here. Post University needs to move in, though. Kel takes out one. So now it's a 1v3. They should be able to clean this up. They get the defuse, and that is exactly what we needed to see from Post there. They're staying in the game, right? This is a pretty typical start, regardless of kind of who's playing a 2-to-1 scenario. But now MSU is going to have an econ to match Post.
Yep, and I mean, keeping 3 guns is going to be really good for them here. They should be able to scrap together maybe a couple SMGs, maybe a Bulldog or 2, and it does look like it is going to be the Bulldogs here for them. So they should have a buy to be competitive in this round as well. And I mean, what a beautiful retake from them, managing to keep all 3 players alive in that 3v2 situation and managing to salvage those guns. But now we're starting to see, again, another sort of a set up towards the beginning here for MSU. Gonna shoot that dart and kind of explore this area.
This is interesting. They're doing a bit of a split push. I hesitate to call it kind of a default coming out from MSU because, there's nobody really in mid. But this is certainly interesting coming out from them. They definitely have, the guns to, I think, be able to do this. If you're at a gun disadvantage, you kind of want to stack all 5. But in this case, they're not really, so they can kind of afford to do this split push thing. I believe the call came in that B side is just looking a little bit more appetizing, shall we say.
And look how far up they are for free here. They're kind of able to get so much space all through main. They only should be able to get some sort of a plant here. It will get stalled out maybe a little bit, but that Killjoy utility is going to go down and the plant will come through here. And now we will be in a 5v5 retake scenario.
I really like this wall that came out from Elle. She's successfully kind of blocked the site potentially for the defuse here, but Post University needs to get a couple of kills here. They need to start moving because otherwise there's just not going to be time to do what they need to do. Hell does go in for one, but it's going to be punished for it. They don't quite move as quickly as they need to, and this has just been a snowball from those first couple of kills. MSU able to take round number 4.
And the trading is just so in favor of MSU right now in these post-plant scenarios when it does come to like 5v5. We saw it in the pistol round, we saw it here. Just being able to play off of each other, be in positions, and Post not able to clear out the players. There was also that kitchen lurk from Viroheat, who was able to get a couple kills off the back end of that as well. And now Post are going to be forced mostly into a save here. They will have 1 hero rifle for Dissident, but besides that, it is going to be quite difficult for this round for them to get anything here.
Scanning ahead.
And we're going to see this. Oh.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be tough. I mean, I do like the fact, like you said, that Dissident does have that rifle, so looking to see them play kind of aggressively because if they can get a pick with something kind of out of position, and maybe they're going to be able to get another rifle, but that's not going to be the case. Instead, one falls into the hands of MSU. And MSU, by the way, I think has looked very, very confident in each and every single one of their moves, right? They're not wasting any time. It seems like they know exactly what they want to do almost immediately. NECC able to take down another. We might be looking at a flawless round. Hopefully Elle or somebody else on Post University can get at least another pick, but ooh, that recon bolt's going to make things tough. They're going to have to take it out, but not enough time for that. We do see a flawless round come in, but it was a save round, so Post University should be able to come back with a nice econ here and hopefully put up a solid defense.
Yep, and what a confidence boost for Mnemonics here, who got a 4K on that round, and some of those eco frags to get that ult online now, as we do see 3 separate ults online for MSU here. That Killjoy probably going to be used towards this A site for a free take on the site early, and that Sova ult so strong in the post plant scenarios. So as we see them stack here, we'll have to see if they go for that as post goes aggressive towards A.
Yeah, Chris, I think, really probably wants to see if they can get that Hunter's Fury on the line, because if they can, then that's certainly able to counter the, the lockdown. Fire Heat does take Chris down, though, so yeah, that's the cue, right? That's immediately going to lead to the lockdown coming in. So Post University is not in a position where they can try and get any kills kind of as the exit before the lockdown really hits. So they're just going to have to wait here and be content to let MSU get onto the site for free, get that plan for free. NECC gets a little aggressive, and Mojo just waiting patiently is able to even the playing field here a little bit. So Post University trying to push in. Mojo needs to get a little bit more information, I think, so that they have kind of a plan for how to address onto this point. Dissident does a double take, able to tag one. That's going to be good. And here comes the showstopper. They're going to find anybody? No, they don't quite, but they see a toe from Danny. They know they are up there. Are they going to be able to get the drop on him? Not this time. 3 versus 3, and the fight is starting to move a little bit faster. Danny coming in with a 3K here for MSU, turning the tides for MSU and delivering them a 5th round. And now things are starting to look a little bit out of control here for Post University. This might be a great time for Meech to kind of, yeah, look at that. Right
All that time
Meech comes in. Meech comes in with the timeout. This is just what we want to see in a situation like.
Yep, and like again, I think it's one of those kind of momentum breaker timeouts. Maybe he does have something cooked, but it looks like there was a little bit of they looked a little bit flustered, like there wasn't some communication that went through there. It seemed like when Dissident went down to Danny and Nest, it just wasn't communicated to KeltheKelp, who also like wasn't checking up there and got taken out as well. So it seems like there might be a little bit of chaos in the comms right now, so maybe taking this timeout to sort of recollect might be good here for them. It does look like they might be able to scrap together a buy if they choose to. A couple light armor rifles, maybe some bulldogs and stuff, but we'll have to see what they want to do with this round. They do have that KO ult and the Killjoy ult for themselves online, as well as the Hunter's Fury for Sova as well. So a lot of these ults might be paired this round to be able to get some sort of a retake situation here. And yeah, it does look like we're going to see Guardians, Buckies, Stingers. Not enough that they won't have a buy for next round, but definitely some sort of invest here.
Yeah, I like a small investment here. I don't think I don't think forcing is necessarily the answer for Post University at this point, because I think what a lot of those, maybe kind of confusion in the comms that you were talking about is kind of manifested to, at least to me, look like hesitation, right? It looks like Post University is just a little hesitant. They don't know exactly what they want to do given their, what information they're getting in. And so I think what we need to see from those comms is just a little bit more immediate decisions, right? Like, make a call, go for it. Even if it isn't ideal, making a call early and quick is going to be good. NECC now helping to secure A site. Disney goes down to Noah. That's going to be a big blow, though, for Post University.
But they didn't get the plant down here, and the wall is now down for Viper, so they are going to be able to stall this out for just a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's certainly going to give Post University an opportunity to kind of get better positioning here. Okay, we are going to see the wall come out now. The plant is coming in. A little bit of gunfire to see if maybe they can stop something. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. It's not going to be in time, though, to stop the plant, unfortunately. But KeltheKelp has evened things up, and in fact, they take out NECC, the top fragger right now. So, Hasty takes a little bit of damage, down to about half health, but they are going to be able to finish somebody off. Elle has just a sliver, but chrisramrz is coming in with a big shot there on the hasty, certainly trying to even the playing field here. KeltheKelp exchanges a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough for Post University to secure the round. But I think the silver lining is they're playing better. That looked better. In a lot of the situations I think we saw in previous rounds where they had kind of gone down a little bit, they hadn't been able to rally, they hadn't been able to stabilize in particular, but in that round in particular, we did see a bit of stabilization and a little bit of damage.
It kind of did remind me a lot of the second round where, although they didn't win it, they did take a lot of guns with, like, kind of having the classics versus more of those, like, Spectre buys. And it seems like they're almost forced to play a little bit more coordinated together in those rounds, and we're sort of seeing something there. And maybe that's enough of a spark to get them back into this game with full buys here. It is going to be a full B hit right now.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna get the KO ultimate out almost immediately. So that's definitely gonna make this, I think, push onto B-site a bit easier. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna be able to get the plant down pretty quickly, and Post University doesn't really want to push into that KO ultimate. It has expired at this point, and now here comes Post University's ult. Getting a little bit of information as far as where everybody is. Some utility goes out from Dissident, trying to clear the way and get a little space here for Post University. Now they're kind of in control, but NECC comes in with a couple of big kills. Down to 2, just 1, and Post University not able to follow through on, honestly, what it looked like to me a very good plan for the retake. Like, I think the strategy there was sound, but the execution and the follow-through just wasn't there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the shot's just not quite going their way there. And, I mean, it was so hard for them to be able to potentially stall that plant as well, because with the KO ult as well coming through on the attacker side from MSU, it kind of stalled all of those, like, mollies and stuff like that, so they could get the safe plant. And then the actual 5v5 retake scenario not going the way of Post here, but now looks like Dissident is going to get challenged on this B long angle.
Ooh, almost lands the shot, but NECC just ducks out of the way at the last second here. But Post has done a good job, I think, of delaying a plan here. And again, they're not moving prematurely because they've still got KJ, right, on A site, kind of scouting things out. But now the call seems to have come in that, no, they want to make the site on, when they make the hit on the B. NECC takes down 1, Elle is gone, so that's a lot of utility that's going to be out of the picture for Post here. But I think at this point, Post just needs to be in kind of a damage control mode and a little bit of a do as much damage as they can mode, right? Sometimes you just have to play for the next round here. With the plant down already, Mojo takes down 1. That's going to be good. Noah finds somebody looking the other way, though, for Post University. So now, just down to Distant, but they're not going to be able to get it done. NECC ends up with a 3K, and MSU is looking phenomenal right now. This looks like a well-oiled machine, and Post needs to throw a wrench in the works somewhere, somehow.
Absolutely. It's just the confidence in these calls from MSU right now. You can kind of see it in their gameplay. And again, Post not really having a buy that round or having the guns to back up really what they want to do. But now, with 8 rounds given up, it's kind of the game's kind of running away from them here, as Dissident maybe has an opportunity to do something big here. Gonna get challenged once again. But we'll get droned out. We'll be forced to leave and head off towards yellow as they look to take this B site here.
NECC for a shot right here. He's going to dash behind yellow as the wall goes down. But here comes the lockdown now, once again, from MSU. So that's going to give him a lot of space here. NECC is going to find Dissident right behind that wall. And a great shot coming in from Dissident. That's exactly what we need to see here. A little bit of Molly thrown down to see if maybe they can put a little bit of damage onto somebody. Now Post University is getting the trades that they need. They secured an early advantage, and now they're running it pretty aggressively. And in fact, MSU isn't even able to get the plant down. They've got the spike isolated. So Post University, as long as they just play this by the books, play it by the numbers, and Danny doesn't have a hero moment, Post University has this round.
Yeah, and it does, I mean, it was really off of the back of Mojo here. I mean, not Mojo, Dissident here, who got that 3K, and Mojo will be the one to clean up the round here. Maybe a little prediction towards the future on accident there, but, I mean, Dissident getting that, first pick off of the overheat, from, NECC there, and then, after that, being able to find another with the Raise Rocket, coming through, and then, finding that third kill over towards yellow really opened up the round for Post, and maybe that'll be the momentum they can use to grab maybe the last couple of these rounds, get an 8-4 half, and put them in a position to come back here. But it doesn't look like MSU is afraid of this B-side here, so they're going to challenge Dissident once again.
Yeah, I think they found that if they can take out, you know, it's kind of like if you can take out Dissident or if you can take out NECC, the round is so much more likely to go your way here.
Wow!
Right? And what was that? Dissident takes out NECC blind, I think. I think they just sprayed through, and I think that was just a spray and pray, excuse me, with a headshot as well. So you gotta love to see it for Post. I mean, again, like I was saying, drastically improves their chances here.
Absolutely, and it does look like it is going to be a delayed re-hit over towards B here, although Viper is lurking their way up through A, so maybe kind of testing the waters a little bit here. But again, there's still a couple over towards A waiting for this, and now the knife will be invested here. Should have spotted Dissident, I believe, but look at the lurk up here from Hasty.
Wow, Dissident is able to find another one. Hasty, yeah. Certainly on their own kind of solo adventure here, right? You know, this isn't necessarily D&D where you never want to split the party, but in a situation like this, I'm not sure it was really advisable either. That to me looked like mind games. That looked to me like MSU wanted to see if they could pull a little bit of the defense off of B by potentially throwing Hasty to the Wolves, right?
Right.
And now it really didn't play out that way. Unfortunately for MSU, Post University, I think, was really playing it very patiently, and there's almost no way Noah's going to be able to get this planned in here, especially with that Molly going out as well. They turn into like 3. That's going to be a couple of players down. They go for the plan as long as they don't die.
Wow.
Oh, Post was playing with fire there. I don't know about you, Char, but that made me a little nervous.
Yeah.
That looked maybe a little too aggressive when all you had to do was run out the clock.
Yeah, I think you have someone run away there. I think...
Oh. Yeah, chat, make no mistake, that is not necessarily how to play the end of a round.
Yeah, I didn't hate the lurk up coming from Hasty there. Unfortunately, I don't think throwing the wall like Hasty did when so far up unseen was a great idea there, because it kind of exposes where you are. But I do like the concept. They could have potentially gotten a pick onto that site and led to that rotate. Now it does look like we are going to see them looking a little bit more towards this A site. Sova Dart will come through. I don't believe it'll get any scans there, but wow!
Oh, wow.
And now it does.
And no, I apologize. I'm gonna have you take it for just a second because I'm getting some lag.
Gotcha. So it does look like it is going to be a full exit here based off of the cable, and it does look like they're going to get the plant down. The Viper's pit going to be dropped in too, so this should be such a difficult round for Post here. So we'll come down to being able to take down this Viper. And so far, Post kind of grouping up in this pit, not able to find anything yet, running out of HP here from the decay. And I mean, Hasty.
Oh wow, no, there is at least a trade right there, but yeah, Post University in a tough position right now. Kel is able to find a blender, and I think that Chris is just one player remaining. Chris looking for the hero place, but they're not going to get it, and you know what? Okay, so it's here, right? We got to talk about it. We got to talk about the curse, because Post University pulled it back one of the games I cast for while you were on vacation. So I know they have it in them.
Absolutely.
To make this 9-3 curse come to fruition.
Yeah, and
for
the
MSU.
9-3 curse, infamous in Valorant. It doesn't matter if you're a pro team in your ranked games, consistently seems to find some sort of way to exist. And usually it starts off of the back of a pistol round, so we'll have to see what Post look to do here. It does look like a grouping more towards B side here and a little bit mid, and based on the pings, it looks like it is going to be some sort of a B split here, but it will be greeted by 2 people in the main.
Yeah, this is interesting. Post University really trying to take advantage of that, which MSU did not at all. In fact, we're seeing kind of a push through. I thought we were going to maybe go through Kitchen, but Hasty is taking down Mojo. That's not good, especially when like your main shot caller is the one who's fallen. Numinix finds Kel as well, so now Post University in a very difficult situation. Valorant finds another, and at this point, we're going to either need a hero player just to do some damage for Post University. They need to try and isolate these duels, which is exactly what Elle is doing right now. Unfortunately, they're not quite able to get Numinix, so now it's down to Dissident. But if you only have one player remaining, Dissident, I think, is the player you want.
Absolutely, but what can you do here? 1v4.
Well, if they can get this duel on Numinix, they're able to find it. So it's not over yet. They're gonna swap out for a ghost, and they go for the they're trying to bait out the flare with the ult orb, and unfortunately it doesn't quite go their way. But that was some great play there. I think in a very high pressure situation for this one.
Absolutely, but I mean the pistol round strat from MSU seems almost anti-stratted to what Post wanted to do here. I wonder if they've maybe seen some of the tape or anything, because that is a very common pistol round strat that Post go for that B split, and they kind of just really ran 2 down B main, and they kind of killed that spike carrier, which was so big for Post kind of getting slowly picked apart there at different points in their B split here. And now they're going to walk up mid again. But Danny finds one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dissident is already down. Elle falls as well. Again, you know, the gun advantage, the econ advantage here, very much in favor of MSU. And at this point, Post University looks like they're just playing it a little too loose, a little too fast. Right? I think they need to be a little bit more careful. They need to show maybe a little bit more respect to some these players on MSU. Mojo tries to bait somebody out with a flash. See if they can get a quick pick on the Numinix, though. Peeking around that corner right as Mojo turns. But it's going to be a 2v1. They're able to get Numinix down, though. Danny finds one. Mojo looks for another, but it's going to be another 4K, this time for Danny.
And I think the big part about that 4K is now KO 4 out of 8 online for the ultimate there, which is quite a good start to the half. Again, that the KO being so important for retake scenarios on this defensive side. Post will have guns now, and we'll have the gun advantage as well. But I mean, there's already 11 rounds on the table for MSU, so Post will really need to start stringing together rounds if they want a chance to come back in this game.
Yeah, and it really has to start right here, right? This is going to be the round where they've got the best, I think, kind of econ advantage here. Dissident gets spotted out by the dart. And Post University pushing this pretty quickly. I think they want to try and make something happen here just about as fast as they can. But look at this kind of flank coming out from Numinix as well. This could be problematic if Post doesn't spot it out. Beautiful satchels to kind of get onto point right here. Danny is spotted too. So Post University has a wonderful site control at this point. They're going to go ahead and get the plant in. Elle looking to see if they can find somebody. They try to throw out a little bit of Molly Util to prevent the plant. It kind of scares Post for a moment, but they still do get it down. And honestly, this just looks like they want to play for the Post plant situation, right? That's going to be a one-player advantage now for Post University. If I already tries to take someone else. They are going to get Mojo, though, so great play right there. It's going to be a 3v3 right now, but MSU is certainly hurting. Just one more shot on Sova is going to be able to take them out. Elle looks to duel with Noah. It's not going to find a Fire Heat, though. Gets word of where Elle is able to turn around that corner, so that's a 3v2. But MSU is going to have to move pretty quickly, and they have little to no health to speak of. chrisramrz finishes one off. KeltheKelp finds the next one, and Post University does have the round. Now let's see if they can just kind of save those guns. Ooh, are they going to be able to get out of the way in time? Just barely. Absolutely ideal situation there for Post.
Yeah, and I mean, they did lose quite a few guns, but they should be able to buy back mostly into this round here. And I think the important part was that they dealt with the flank from Numinix very quickly as two. It was Chris and KeltheKelp who dealt with that flank there, and it allowed everyone to just be kind of in front of them in that site take. And then despite taking a lot of people out, the HP bars just kept falling for MSU to the point where that final healthy two of Chris and KeltheKelp were able to win that round here. And an early dart should spot out Vyro here. Did shoot that, but it is going to be what looks to be an A execute here. Post probably looking to take the site.
Yeah, I imagine they're looking to do something very similar to what they did before. Kind of a pretty aggressive push to just get site control first, right? Establish that. A lot of util just continually push back. MSU, big satchel coming out, but Noah's ready for it. Dissident isn't able to quite land the shot that they need to. So now 4v4, a little bit of util. Beautiful job pulling that pulling Elle off of the spike and into a situation where it's just easy picking for him. So Post University down to just 2 at this point. This is going to be very difficult. But Mojo does find 2. Beautiful job. Evening the playing field. There's certainly an opportunity here to string together another win. Post University just has to play this absolutely perfectly. And Hasty is going to get the jump on KeltheKelp, unfortunately. And the defenders do, in fact, take that round. So now we are on match point here, Star.
Match point.
Yeah, and I mean, what a long road for Post if they want a chance back in this. But I do want to mention that Hasty, I believe, used the orb to block off the Killjoy turret on the flank, so it allowed that flank to come through there without KeltheKelp ever being aware, because the turret never went down. But I did like a lot of that sort of like pre-take utility that came from MSU, using a couple Killjoy mollies, the KO molly as well, and just being able to get into the site before the plant could happen. And now we're going to see a mid push coming out from Post University here.
Yeah, and it's going to be enforced, which is exactly what they need to do here. They need to use player advantage to get the kills. But what a stray transfer there coming out from Hasty. Danny picks up another one. chrisramrz is able to take out Hasty, but we're looking at a 2-4 situation here for Post University. Just one player remaining. It has to be Dissident here. So 1v4 if they hope to stay in this game. Otherwise, it is on to the next map, which will be Bind. And unfortunately, Dissident is spotted out, so we can see everybody's just pushing on them as fast as they can. They overwhelm with numbers, and MSU goes to an early 1-0 lead.
Wow. I mean, an absolute masterclass from MSU there. I mean, the guns were firing, the strategies were confident, they were fast, they were willing to rotate quickly. It felt like they had a huge map read on Post there.
Yes.
It just felt like everything that Post were trying to do was just read by MSU, was sort of stratted around, and a little bit of a rough start here for Post.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like a team that not only has very, and speaking of MSU, has very confident comms, but also really knows Icebox. I think that was is something that maybe we didn't chat about like earlier, just throughout the course of that map. But I think that the map knowledge shown by MSU there was just peak performance. But now we are moving on to Bind, and that is a map that honestly I feel like Post has excelled at in a lot of different ways. Plus, Dissident is going to, I think, be able to stay right on that raise, which is going to be kind of an ideal pick on Bind.
Yeah, Dissident definitely one of the bright spots in that game for Post, being able to grab some of the rounds almost single-handedly at times, especially that triple kill over towards the B site with the first kill and then the raise rocket and then finding another towards yellow. And definitely one of the brighter spots. So having Dissident be confident in being able to play an agent that they know will be really important for them on the Spine map. I do believe that was MSU's map pick based on them getting side select for map 3.
Right.
So Post did opt for Bind, it seems like. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a better look there for them. Maybe a map that feels a little bit more prepped for them. Icebox is a map that we have seen Post on quite a bit, but usually it feels like it's picked by the opponent rather than them. It's something that they're sort of comfortable playing, but not necessarily their pick of choice.
Right. I think that's a good way to put it. And that's kind of how it's felt to me, when I've been casting and watching as well. So excited to see them pick it up on Bind, but I do believe we're gonna have a short break here while the players just stretch, get some water, things like that. So we'll see you all back here in just a few minutes.
Alrighty, everybody, and welcome back. We are getting into the second map here, already into Agent Select and some fast locks coming in onto Bind. This was Post University's map pick here, and we are going to see a big shift in Numinix's role here, going from that Jet to the Cypher, almost opposite roles, so to speak, as Vyro,
Right.
who is going to jump into that Duelist role here. But on the other side, Dissident going to lock in that raise again, as we kind of talked about before.
Yeah.
And it looks like pretty much the same roles coming out. Cypher instead of a Killjoy for KeltheKelp. Just Elle going for the Brimstone, which is more common on this map as a solo smokes. But besides that, pretty much the same comp here for Post. But on the other side, looking to cook a little bit, that Reyna coming out as well for Danny.
Right? That's interesting. That is kind of what caught my eye as well. As the Saga, I mean, that brings a lot of utility to the table, right? You've got some heals, you've got flashes. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen her more frequently here, but again, that Reyna pick, that's interesting. And that almost feels exploitable to me if you were post-university, right? You know, that's certainly, I think, a potential weak spot as far as an agent selection is kind of concerned. But I think the other thing we do have to acknowledge is that MSU has been hitting their shots. And if you are hitting your shots on Reyna, then you can snowball things.
Absolutely, you can get so much value from those kills. Even if like you end up only living with a sliver of health, you can get that dismiss out. You can get the heal sometimes back, right? I do think Bind is one of those maps that, because it almost requires less necessary components for the map, it does allow Reyna to be used, where you can kind of run Reyna in a pair with like another set of flashes. That Leer combined with a flash can be so powerful, because it's, if you look that way, you're getting flashed by Sky. If you kind of don't go and shoot it, then when you go to look back, you're looking into the Leer, you're blinded as well. So we'll be looking for that sort of utility combo pairing to maybe get value out of the rather, generally speaking, weak flash that is the Leer. But they are going to be posted over towards this B site here. At least early on, a little bit of a lurk coming out from Numinix here, but a nice showers walkout from Post might catch there.
If they can take this as a 2v1, this could be very, very advantageous for Post University. It all depends on kind of how Numinix wants to handle this. There's a smoke up there, but in the meantime, Dissident starting to enter here into hookah. A little bit of gunfire exchange. Grenade goes out. Here comes the boombot as well to kind of clear and gain a little bit more space. Vyro trying to hold that corner. KeltheKelp is going to come in contact with Noah here. Beautiful shot. Didn't even have a chance right there. So that is an early advantage for Post University. But Danny has come up with a kill on the Dissident. That's a big piece of the puzzle out of the way now for MSU. So they're certainly going to be feeling a little more confident. That is shown in the kill feed as well. And that snowballed very quickly the direction of MSU.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, that lurk eventually paying off for Numinix, who did find those two players towards Shower at the very end, lurking up through short there. But it just seemed like the initial stall wasn't really met with any help. Eventually, Dissident kind of a fish in a barrel there in hookah, swarmed by the enemies, and KeltheKelp did get that first pick, but Mojo quickly going down when trying to join Kel there. So unfortunately for Post, going to be another pistol round lost. I think that is 3 pistol rounds. Or 3 for 3 on pistol rounds for MSU.
That has definitely been the case here. And he is suppressed for a moment, but they're going to be able to push in here pretty quickly. Dissident looking for a shotgun kill, able to get one right as the Leer comes out. It's going to be a trade, so that's kind of an ideal situation here for Post University if they can turn this down. Nice shots coming out from KeltheKelp, but the flash is able to save Noah's life there and deliver them the kill as well. You're going to be able to get the plan here. Now it's a 1-player advantage here for MSU. Mojo looking for this lurk, or looking for this off angle here. Numinix throwing a little bit of util to kind of keep things, keep Post University from me able to push quickly at least. Recon Dart playing a little bit of havoc on Post University. Mojo does see Numinix. They're going to try and throw a lot of utility to see if they can really kind of delay things. Beautiful shot here from Mojo. They're going to be able to get another one. Can they find the third? No, the reload difference there for MSU. And as we lead into this third round here, I think something that we do have to mention, Star, is the fact that this is a do-or-die map for Post University. Not only is it do-or-die as far as this match is concerned, we are in a best-of-3 here, but this is a single elim bracket for the NECC. So if Post University takes the loss here, then the season is done. So they are going to be doing everything they can to stay into this game right here. This is a must-win situation.
Right, and once again, we are going to see Elle and Chris going to look for showers control here, and they're going to be met on a contest. And that's going to be 1 kill going over to Chris, as now the push gets a little bit stalled here.
Yeah, Chris just looking to throw in a little extra damage, maybe looking for a lucky kill there in showers, but they're not able to find anything. Stim goes out, so now Danny is going to push through here on U-Haul, but they are going to be picked up by the knife. Numinix now need to just wait until this smoke dissipates before they push in. The plan is already in. Dissident finds Numinix, though, on the flank, so this is great for Post University. Now the shot comes in. This time Elle finds one. That's a 5v1. Post University looking for a perfect round right here, and this is exactly what you want to see. But Danny finds one. Mojo's going to say that's all you get, though. If the defuse comes in, Post University is still in it.
Wow, and I love the reflank there coming in from Dissident there, who had that huge flank over basically in T-spawn over there. So after the the Cypher lurk from Numinix came out, which was going to pinch Chris. Instead, Dissident found that kill, really turned that on its head, and then it was easy to kind of sort of pick apart that post plant for Post. Once again, we are going to see them vie for this showers control that they do really like here, but it does look like it's going to be greeted really early on again with more aggression, and this time on very even guns here.
Oh, what a play from Chris. I do very much like, just like you were saying, this aggressive showers control is really paying dividends for Post University, but Numinix is able to find Elle, so they do eventually trade out, and Chris is just sitting at 10 HP as well, so Chris is not really in a situation where they can push very well. Noah actually completely wraps around showers, and now A is completely under MSU's control, and they have a 1-player advantage.
Yeah, I mean, there was just nothing short there for them, so the wraparound was super easy. But now we're going to be seeing a nade towards showers is going to find a kill here.
What a fantastic nade from this one. That's going to certainly help things out a lot. Kill and Mojo combined for another kill. It's just going to be a 1v2, but look at how little health, how little HP both of the players from Post University have right now. They have to get this kill on to Noah. A little bit of damage comes in. Mojo now try to drop back as far as they can. They need to either get the defuse or the kill. They get the kill. They're gonna get the defuse. Post University is gonna be able to even this up at 2 apiece.
Wow, the shots landing for Mojo there. Gonna completely change that round. I mean, there was just such low HP between Mojo and KeltheKelp there. Basically a single bullet for each. And a brave push through the molly from Noah there. Almost did net the round, but Mojo absolutely prepared for it. And again, yeah, there is a showers control play once again for Post. However, I do like that Mojo's here now to look out for short, because unfortunately there was just nobody short, and there was that wraparound, and they couldn't get deep enough in showers or enough control of it that they could fight from one side or the other, and there was just kind of a pinch. And once again, we are going to see, I think, low buys here for MSU.
Yeah, and Post University very much taking advantage of this. And yeah, Saga peeked in and paid for it with their lives. Just the spray through has yielded dividends, but now it's going to be turned the other way around. And a lot of information has just come in for MSU. That is a very powerful ultimate. The neural theft just really can kind of change the game here. So Elle, I think, very wisely throws down a lot of smokes. They're going to be taken out, though, by the Lear. It is a trade, though, so Post University still in a good situation. But Viro, he coming in big now for MSU. The plan is going to come in. So Post University has to find a way to overcome kind of this player advantage. Once again, I think they need to try and take this, see if they can isolate duels here.
Yep, and now MSU have guns now, right? They did start off with those sheriffs, those stingers, but they did pick up the guns off the dead body, so that's going to be so important for them here. Now it's kind of just like disadvantage numbers, even guns.
Yeah, U-Haul now under distance control. KeltheKelp actually moving with them as well, but they're going to have to move very, very quickly. They try and isolate the duel here, but it's not going to happen. And instead, MSU's going to pick up the round, and MSU says, you know what, you can tie it, that's fine with us, but we're not going to give you the lead.
Yep, and there's that fast timeout from Meech here, not wanting things to potentially get out of hand. Maybe seeing something that he didn't necessarily like. Maybe wanting to shift away from the showers control because it is just being heavily contested in a way that it kind of has just become like throw down the stim beacon, spray through the smoke, and it kind of almost a 50-50 coin flip of which team was going to find those kills, as we kind of saw. We saw the first kill go the way of Post, and then a random stray bullet took down Chris as well. And when that kind of happens, if you're trading 1-for-1 as defenders and like giving up the site, it ends up being not like as worth it. You want to like take more of the attackers then you kind of lose as defenders for the post plant situation, right? An even trade, getting down to like a 3v3 post plant or something, usually is in favor of the attackers just because of like time being on their side, right? So unfortunately, they're not getting as much value out of showers as they would maybe like to get. So we'll have to see if maybe they pivot away from that. And it looks like they might just be sending Dissident with them here. Ooh, it looks like not a whole lot of money for Post here. And it's going to be Dissident over in Halls here. And once again, we're seeing showers being played towards. But as for MSU, it is going to be more towards the B side of things here. Looking down long, I don't think that dart spotted anyone either.
No, that's great for Post University that nobody got spotted out by that. Or rather, sorry, I thought I was thinking of it the other way. But Chris picks up one through showers. That aggressive showers play is actually still working out. There's a whole lot of utility over here for Post University. They're going to be, Mojo's going to go ahead and pop their ultimate, which is going to give pause, I think, to MSU. They certainly don't want to push on this if they don't have to. Mojo actually playing this pretty conservatively at this point, as I'm sure they're kind of waiting for the rest of Post University to wrap around. But look at Dissident here in mid. They're going to come into contact here with the spike almost immediately, but they've only got a shotgun to really do anything with, and they weren't necessarily the kind of range that you wanted to be in for that shotgun. So now it's a 4v4 again here, Star.
Yeah, and I think we saw Elle and Chris kind of waiting over for a TP that didn't seem to come. Wow!
Oh, beautifully played by Kel there. Takes out two. One player advantage still. They're going to go ahead and use the neural theft as well to see if they can find where the rest of the team is. And that's going to yield them a lot of information. They know that MSU is kind of committed to this B side, so they're going to play it kind of patiently, right? In fact, they may even be looking for a post-plant kind of situation here, but Valorant is actually playing this pretty aggressive. It's only 50 seconds left to go. And in fact, oh, that's right, the spike is down. The spike is down in Hookah, so Kelp now just kind of waiting. Danny does eventually get the kill, but this is another situation where all they gotta do is wait out the clock. There's no way that MSU gets this round, and once again, Post University has evened it at 3 apiece.
Yeah, and I mean, just absolute heroics here from KeltheKelp with that classic, managing to find that first kill with the right click, and then somehow managing to follow up with a second, jumping out there. And I mean, just incredible shots, got the spike down, put it in no man's land, and also getting the neural theft as well to be able to scout out where the other players are, being able to stall that time, just kind of gave them no shot in the round. And once again, we're seeing MSU on low buys here, just one rifle and a stinger really to work with. And once again, showers control in the cards for Post.
Oh yeah, look at this very quick aggressive push. Danny is able to trade it out, so that's not necessarily a bad thing there for MSU. Dissident has control over U-Haul, but they're actually going to back off a little bit, which is going to give quite a bit of control here to MSU. Instead, Dissident looks like they just kind of want to wait and let MSU make the move themselves. Dissident knows that nobody has been able to kind of push through here, and actually they're just going to kind of give up that entire side to MSU, so we're going to have to see if this gamble is going to end up paying off. Here comes the showstopper, though. Dissident and Chris combined for a pair of kills. And Post University looks like they're headed potentially to, if they can play this right, their first round win. Dissident finds Vyro Heat up top. Saga gets one player remaining, and KeltheKelp is there to finish it off. So Post University with their first lead in this series.
Yeah, and I mean, wow, just beautifully well played there. Like, tapping that initial orb in Showers, being aware that someone could be in that smoke to at least get that trade kill. Beautiful shot from Danny, did cause it to be a trade there, and then Post being able to give up unimportant parts of the site and being able to kind of, like, corral MSU to where they wanted on the site and waiting for their players from B to come through and just using their superior guns to take that round. And now we are going to see a early Skydog over towards B and early fighting as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of util was revealed there by that dog, so I think that was a great situation there for MSU. Danny's going to go ahead and win that first duel, and unfortunately, Kel unable to keep the rifle under control, and just the spray there, I think, was the difference. Vyro Heat just hitting a few more early shots was the difference maker there, so MSU is in a prime position to tie this series back up at 4 apiece.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that these very fast, like, hard commit hits are being very difficult for Post to actually deal with here, as they look to try and get into the site.
So if Dissident can play this right, they kind of gave away their position there in the hallway, so now I think this could be a more difficult duel than they anticipated. Vyro Heat just able to find them, look at the wrong direction as they push through that smoke, so now it's just down to Dissident. There's not really time on the clock here. The best they can hope to do is just a little bit of econ damage, but that doesn't even come through for Post University on that round.
Yeah, and I mean, we did talk about this Reyna pick earlier on, and if it would be able to deliver and actually get those frags, and so far, Danny, 13 kills already in this game in just 8 rounds. Absolutely delivering, finding that value with the Reyna. And again, as I kind of mentioned in the middle of the round, it seems like Post are having a lot of struggles dealing with just like raw aggression, the raw commits. When the rounds get slowed down for Post is when they're kind of able to find these rounds. So we'll have to see what they can do to help that.
Early dog once again coming in. It's not going to stun Dissident though, so that's a good situation here for Post University. A lot of util kind of being expended. Here comes the ultimate from Brimstone that's not going to find anybody, but it does isolate Dissident in kind of an awkward position here. They don't really have an exit strategy, and the flash from Sky is going to yield dividends. Danny finds another one on Mojo. And now this round is quickly falling away from Post University. Chris considering
spike planted.
A little noise here. Finds there's nobody really blocking the way in that TP, so they're able to get through here, but the spike is down already. Post University is going to have to make a pretty quick push here, but with Elle falling, there's not a whole lot Chris can do here. They might even want to just try and save their gun for the next round. Having at least one Phantom moving into the next round could certainly help things considerably, but this duel with Noah is going to be big, and Noah a little quicker on the trigger. MSU reclaims the lead.
Yeah, I would have liked to maybe see Post just look to save both of the rifles there in that situation, just completely outnumbered, especially with not having much buys into this round. If they had saved 2, they might have been able to force 3 rifles, maybe look for something here, but they did opt to go for the TP to scout things out. Didn't go in their favor here. But again, it feels like they're playing a little too far up towards B, trying to hold that hookah control, and it just feels like it's falling apart for them. They're getting wrapped from long. They're just kind of getting pinched from both sides here. It's Dissident with the Bucky.
And forcing use both their satchels too to get away, so now that's a lot of util that Dissident isn't really going to have as MSU is pushing onto site. So yeah, this Bucky, I think Dissident really just kind of needs to play their corners and look for these short situations, but Danny has already got a kill. Here comes the showstopper from Vyro Heat. That's going to put an end to anything Dissident was trying over there on B side with the spike planted. Now Numenix takes out Chris. Things are starting to kind of snowball in a way that is not beneficial for Post University. It looks like these rounds are getting a little out of control for them. Mojo tries to push through the smokes, but is just not looking the right way. Danny gets the pick, so that is 2 flawless rounds that MSU has been able to string together here.
Yeah, and I mean, it just feels like they've kind of cracked the code to post defense here. They've noticed that if they can just go fast, if they can just take these fights, they can kind of exploit this B site. So we'll have to see if post looks to adapt here. And it does look like they're adding Mojo immediately over towards B. It looks like he's gonna flash towards A to make it seem like he's over there, and then he's gonna be playing more towards this B side here, so maybe that'll help them lock down this site and be able to hold it. Dissident so far up though. Does get taken out.
Oh, pardon me there for just a moment. Yeah, I think that the big difference, I think, to me is that MSU has just abandoned A altogether. They said that B is a lot more vulnerable here. We're having a difficult time on A. Kel gets a little bit of information there on Danny, but is unable to capitalize on it. The shots don't come in the way that they need to. I was able to find Mojo as well, and so now it's a quick 5v3, and this is a round where Post University was able to buy into this. So a lot of trouble here for Post University. It's 6v4. It is 6-4 here in terms of the round, so the best they can hope for is an even half, but now that's looking as if it's even slipping away. Chris, unable to find any info from that recon bolt. Barrow Heat kinds them as they peek around the corner, and Danny gets the jump on Kel, so a 7-5 half is the best that Post University can hope for here.
Last round.
Yeah, and on a map like Bind, I feel like it is one of the more 50-50 maps as time has gone on, where really you either kind of figure out how to play versus the opposing defense or you don't, and there's like not like a whole lot of like super being one-sided or the other. So they do still have a chance, and knowing that it is their map pick, this means this wasn't necessarily their side of choice, so maybe things will look better on the attack side for them. Generally speaking, Post has been better this season on that attack side, being able to push out, so still a lot of hope here for them, despite maybe not having the success that they want so far in the round.
Ooh, KeltheKelp was able to find one. Mojo gets another, too. So this is looking excellent for Post University. They need to maintain this lead. Kel's able to pick up one more, but Chris goes down, which is unfortunate for Post University. Chris has been such a big boon to them on these maps. Saga has control of U-Haul. KeltheKelp is looking the other direction as well, but fortunately for Post University, they decide not to go that direction. They're looking for the opportunity to plan here. Saga throws out a blind to see if they can get the plan in, and they're able to do so, but Post University still has a one-player advantage. They need to really try and play this by the books and use that player advantage, I think, to their advantage.
Yeah, but they have so much space here with the double flank.
Oh, the neural theft is coming up, and now MSU has evened it up, and in fact, looking to turn it the other direction. What looked like was going to go the direction of Post University quickly goes the other way, and that is an 8-4 half for MSU. Just
switching
5 rounds, I believe. Yeah, 5 rounds separate them from
out of charges
going on in this single elim bracket. Post University has to come up with a win here, otherwise the season is over.
Yeah, and I think that starts with the pistol round here. So far, again, MSU has outclassed them in the pistols 3 for 3, but it's such an important round for building your momentum in a half. So we'll have to see if Post can maybe come up with something here, start that momentum, claw those rounds back here, and I think, honestly, that'll be the key for them pulling their way back into this half, because, again, if you lose this round, you're looking at probably giving up double digits this early on in the game.
Yeah, 10-4 does not feel good. 8-6 sounds a whole lot better. So a lot, I think, like you said, is really riding on this round. And once again, Post University really vying for the shower control. We're getting kind of a default push here to kind of feel things out. Post University, I think, doesn't want to do anything kind of haphazardly here. They want to go in with as much information as they possibly can. And they're able to kind of clear things a little bit. The trap wire is. So, Aldrone able to get a bit of information there. Nobody wanting to push out just yet. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a quick push in Post University ends up a little bit better, and in fact, Saga has very, very little health to speak of. So again, just one errant bullet is going to be all it takes to push things very, very far in post direction.
Yeah, and it's forcing the rotate over for Sky to at least look over towards the B site here, which will be the eventual rotate. And that tripwire is going to be so big.
Oh my gosh, Chris is able to take out Vyro Heat beautifully. So now, and that isn't even really necessarily the easy kill, right? They've still got Saga, who again, it just has a sliver of health. Kel's going to be able to get the plant in, and I mean, for a pistol round to be coming together, this is exactly when you want it to happen. Of course, it's not over yet. They still have to make this happen. Chris does get blinded, but they're able to shake it off, and they find the kill onto Danny. Just one bullet. That's all they need onto Saga. It's the last player remaining as well.
And yes,
Mojo waiting around this corner. Should be able to get the jump on them. Going up on top of those boxes. Actually, this could be bad for Mojo, but oh, Saga doesn't check the corner, pays for it with their life and with the round, and this is just what Post University needed.
Absolutely. It's that pistol they needed. They now get to potentially build their momentum. I like the Bulldog invest, that if they can carry those over, those can compete with regular rifles in the third round, especially with 3 of them on the table. So it'll be about keeping as many guns as possible. But as for that round, that Cypher trip did so much work, allowed Chris to get that pick, forced the rotates back towards A, and gave them the free B site, because again, there was just no information over towards B after that opening kill there. And now we're seeing a Showers fight early on here. A beautiful flash.
Yeah, that's going to be great, but Brim takes a little bit of damage. Danny already gets 1 kill. Unfortunately for Post University, things are falling apart relatively quickly. MSU just does a beautiful job. I mean, look at this aggressive push on the defense. The Post University just was not ready for that, and frankly, I don't know who would have been. But the silver lining is that B-side is completely open.
Wow, Dissident just gonna follow Trigger Discipline to find that kill. And
love to see it.
Yeah, 2 Spectres, I believe, or Bulldogs in the hands of MSU as well to work with here in a 4v3 situation. The sights
going out for Dissident. This gets a little bit of damage there on that long hallway. They find another one. They even the round out. That's going to be a bit of an advantage here for Post University. It's just a 1v1. No goes for the defuse. It's all down to Mojo. They've got 100 health. All they need to do is play it out right, and they do exactly that. That's the 8-6 start that we needed to see for Post University.
Yeah, and it did get a little bit...
They keep one Bulldog. They keep one Bulldog.
It did get a little dangerous. They only did manage to keep the 1 Bulldog, and it looks like they're reinvesting into the round here. Oh, they are going to decide against it, it looks like, but Elle for a little bit did have a rifle to hold on to. But I love the decision from Post there to just recognize the Showers TP happened, that they were fighting Showers as 5, to take that B site really fast, and not only take the B site, but to flip the site plant towards back site and kind of play from the defender side was really key for them there. And now we're going to see an execute over towards this A site here. This rotate's already being pulled over.
Already spraying through. That gives a little bit of information there to Dissident. They take advantage of it, pushing Vyro Heat back just a little bit, but that's going to be a nice flash, too. A little bit of damage comes in on the Dissident. So now Danny gets a collat, and that is a huge start here on this round for MSU. Mojo just needs to try and isolate duels, but unfortunately unable to do that. So 9 rounds now for MSU, but Post University still in a good spot. Going to be able to buy full rifles here now.
Yeah, again, that was kind of the expected result of the round with the buys. Unfortunately, that just is usually the case in the third round, despite winning the pistol, right? Just sort of how it goes. But Flawless, maybe not necessarily entirely what you wanted to see. Maybe you wanted to take some of that eco away. But MSU just so good in that anti-eco situation there. And we are just going to see a re-hit towards this A site, it looks like. Curious if they'll just go faster, if maybe this is some sort of a bait. Does get the spot
looks
out.
like a bait, yeah.
Yeah, does get the spot out here of at least the raise towards U-Haul side, and they are going to leave 2 over towards A, lurking up Showers, while they kind of take this walk B in. Oh, this timing will be so important.
Yeah, Numanix not looking the right direction, so Dissident able to get the jump on them. Beautiful, just heads up play there from Post University. Give them an early advantage here. And yeah, this is a team that really looks like they like their attacking side on Bind. I think what you said earlier is absolutely correct. That this Post University squad is a squad that really favors the attacking side on Bind. They've already got the spike down. They've got a 2-player advantage. You just need to play this by the numbers, by the book, and they should have this round. Dissident does get flashed, but they know that the hit is at least coming in from CT. Dog goes out. The smokes are gonna keep them at bay at least for a moment here. Vyro, he does peek through it. They are able to get the pick onto Brim, but nice molly there from Elle to trade out. So it's a 4v2. The situation has not gotten better. Danny fakes the defuse. They fake a little too long. Mojo takes advantage of it, and that's going to be the gap narrowing just a little bit more in favor of Post.
Yep, and I think at this level of play as well, it's a lot easier to build as like a team to be able to have strong attack side halves, and because a lot of like entering and stuff like that, you can kind of see visibly how you kind of play together because you're very grouped up. Where I think defense, like you have to play together while being split up and kind of using utility sort of almost across the map and like relaying information. So I think like it's a lot easier to be more comfortable with attack side, and we're kind of seeing Post find a lot of their kind of synergy plays happening on these attack side rounds here.
And I think as well, like even when they were playing defense on Blind, they were playing it very aggressively too.
Right.
So I think that just goes to show, like this is a team that wants to play aggro, and when they can, they're gonna find success. Wasn't really able to do that on Icebox as well. I just don't think the map really lends itself to that. Here comes Dissident in with a showstopper, is able to get one onto Noah. That's a beautiful start here for Post University, and Dissident says, I'm not satisfied with just that. They are going to be taken out, though. Numanix finds 2, though, as the spike is down, and now Post University is caught in a very difficult situation. Kel needs to make sure they stay alive for this post-plant situation. It's just going to be down to Chris. Oh, and that bird's going to be able to flash them as well. The defuse is coming in. They try to throw a shock dart to see if they can pull him off, and they don't pull them off it, but they get the kill. They get the round, but Chris with some heroics there, despite not taking the round.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunate that he couldn't find the round there, that the shock dart wasn't enough to get that kill, but I mean, quite a few takeaway kills there at least, did get to save that gun as well.
It puts the econ in favor of Post here this round, honestly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think they're going to be able to build off that here.
Yeah, MSU, I mean, despite winning the round basically on almost no buys here, and I mean, absolute heroics there from Numanix, right? Being able to find multiple kills and that kind of push out there, and ooh, potentially a scary situation here, the Sky Flash.
Oh, that's going to be a trade on the other side of the map. Yeah, Saga does get a couple of players blinded there. Boombot's going to go in to try and delay things again. Elle throws in a molly to just kind of push Saga back and give themselves a little bit more map control. But now it looks like Post is kind of reconsidering their options. They're still controlling showers here, but they haven't made a firm decision. Actually, no, it looks like it's going to be an A-side hit at this point, Star.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like they were a little bit hesitant on where they wanted to go. It's kind of almost relinquishing a little showers control at first, but now they've decided that A is going to be the hit here, but there were 3 here. However, Sky's going to rotate off, and now the side hit's going to come through.
Yeah, smokes come out. Mojo looking to kind of get control of the site. And Elle is going to be able to find Danny. That's a big pick for Post University. Kel gets the plant despite getting flashed there at the last second. Vyro, he does find Chris, so they have evened things out just a little bit here. Post University doesn't have full control over the site necessarily. It's going to be a trade. Saga finds another one now, so it's up to Mojo to kind of keep this in their control. They get one, but it's not going to be enough, and just by the skin of their teeth does MSU find the round. Now just 2 away. So Post has shown some great signs of success in this half. but they need just a tiny little bit more to secure this game and keep themselves in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it was a lot of timings going the way of MSU. Just, like, there was Saga able to peek out with that frenzy and find value with it. There was that early play towards Hookah where they pushed into the judge, and that got a pick, right? Gave over a rifle, potentially, right? And it's just the little things, unfortunately, not going the way of Post that round, and a round that maybe they should have had slipping away a little bit. And it looks like we might see a little bit of aggression short here from MSU, but they are going to back off after throwing a little bit of utility. And it does look like it's a fast, long play here. At least enough to get this ult orb and throw a little utility cell that it might be a B hit. Enough to bait the Brimstone ult, as well as the A hit's going to be the one that actually comes through here. How it looks, I assume a TP will come through from Belong, and it will just be the full A hit.
Yeah. Saga doing a jump peek there. See if anything's coming to where, but Chris is playing this pretty casually at the moment. Saga gets a little bit of information. They do spot out Kel. Now they're going to see that at least Hookah is largely clear at the point. Seeker's coming out. That could be problematic if Danny does take out Mojo. And what? Chris comes in despite the blind, is able to get the pick, but Danny comes back into Tradus, and now it's a 2v4 in favor of MSU. It's just going to be Kel now trying to hold on for dear life, and oh, look at that. They use the smokes to their advantage to find Virony. They're in U-Haul, but now they're getting surrounded from every direction. They try to isolate the duel with Noah, but it's not going to be enough, and now just one round is all that separates MSU from going forward in this tournament.
And it does feel like MSU are thriving in the chaos of some of these rounds, right? It just seems, Mojo gonna call a timeout here. But I mean, it just seems like when the rounds sort of devolve and Post kind of get out of sync, MSU just seems to thrive in those situations. And like when it just comes down to these raw 1v1 duels, being able to find those picks, being able to sort of fight together, and like right there in sort of the chaos, Post not really being able to find the gunfights they wanted. And for them now, 5 rounds they'd have to crawl back in order to get into OT, to even potentially bring it to a map 3. I mean, money's not particularly in their favor. Ults, I mean, they do have a couple ults in play that they can make work here, but they do have to be careful of that, the Raze rocket.
Right.
I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that last round was kind of the round that they had, I think, kind of like things looking the best for them. So they're really going to have to dig deep here and find a way to claw back into this game, and they're going to have to do it, like you said, kind of at a disadvantage here, gun-wise. I mean, at least there's a Bulldog, which, by the way, I just want to say, I think vastly underrated. Love the Bulldog. Think it is a great option when you're looking at kind of an econ disadvantage here.
Yeah. It does have that pseudo ability to one-tap with the ADS fire, and it's going to be a Showers play here. And...
Oh, that is unfortunate. Elle is already down, and that's a big part of your entry situation. It looks like MSU wants to put this away as quick as they can as Numanix finds both Mojo as well. Dissident does spot out a little bit of that Cypher util. They take it out. They're playing it slow now, right? And this is where Coast University does well, is when they slow things down. Chris, with just a sliver of health, has decided to get out of the way there. They spot that Boombot. They're able to take it out before any damage is done. And now, looks like we're going to get a B hit.
Yeah.
Coast University, I think, really needs to wait, though, for their Sova to catch up.
Yeah, I think the problem now, though, is that they don't have really any map control right now, right? They don't have anywhere that's clear to hit. It kind of feels like they're having to clear through everything here. Oh, and this ult won't take. We'll get out of it.
Yeah, Dissident barely survives that. I think that, a couple more seconds and Numanix would have found them out. And now Post University has grouped up as a trio, and it looks like they're going to slowly make things back over towards A, but with 30 seconds on the clock, this is the hit. It has to come in on A, but the neural theft is going to let them know exactly where they are. They timed that beautifully. Numanix really has to be commended for that, because they know this is the do or die moment. They know the hit is coming in on A, and look at this. Numanix is even flanking around, too. They're going to see if they can get a pick from the backside, and MSU is just playing this slow. 15 seconds left to go. Post University has to push out right now if they're going to get if they're going to get planned at all, but KeltheKelp is down. That's going to be one player remaining. There's no time for Dissident to do anything, and MSU takes the series. They're going to move forward, and unfortunately for Post University, that will be the end of their season. But what a phenomenal job. I mean, they made it here into the playoffs, and honestly, they showed a lot of promise, I think, here in this matchup against MSU. But unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for us, it just was not in the books.
Yeah, it just felt like MSU came in maybe with a little bit more prep,
GG's,
and I
guys.
think
GG's, guys. Thank you guys so much for the
part
games.
of that sort of almost
GG.
comes from kind of maybe not having as much roster changes, right? Post did have to go through a lot of roster changes, a lot of role swaps, and like for them, maybe sometimes that makes the playbook a little bit thin at times. And then, I mean, just absolute fragging here from Danny on the Reyna, right? 30, 30 kills.
I mean, look at us. Like, we questioned that at the beginning of the round, and it ends up being like practically double the next, the number 2 fragger, right? So Danny, I think, really showing up in a huge way for MSU in that last round.
Right, and honestly, a great season overall for Post. Going to be a little bit of a bittersweet end to the run here, I think. But
honestly, I mean, like anytime you make it to the postseason, I think that's a successful season.
Absolutely.
And Post University definitely has a lot to be proud of here. There's a lot of cohesion with this team. The coaching, I think, is phenomenal. And I think we're just going to see more great things coming out from the Eagles in Valorant when we see them again in the fall.
Yep, absolutely. As for that, thank you everybody for tuning in. And I think that is the end of Valorant for the semester, because I think ECAC might also be over for Post. I could be wrong. If not, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as for that, then we will see y'all in the fall. Have a great night, everybody.